you don't have any social media or anything, which
No.
is fantastic. I think that's awesome. The only reason I have social media really is because I'm using it for work, right?
Right.
So it's advertising. It's one of the best ways to get publicity and whatnot. But it's an extension of our brain,
right?
Because of exactly what we're saying. We take notes on it.
Right.
Now that's our memory.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Because in my mind, when I write something down, now it's on the piece of paper, and now I know to look at the piece of paper to remember it.
Right.
I don't have to remember it in my brain anymore.
Yeah.
So it's almost
ultimately you're still remembering to look at the piece of paper.
Yes, but it's different than actually remembering the thought.
Right.
So in a way, I kind of disagree with that thought in that sense, but it's also a super helpful tool, right? People are like, you don't remember things, write them down. I'm like, I never used to utilize that tool, like I said, until about 6 months ago. And I was like, all right, I can start like writing stuff down. What I started doing is if I had a text that I had to send to somebody, you know, a lot of times it's a longer text. It's doing quotes for my detail company. It's you know, writing different things to people about either guys coming on the podcast or just different business things where it's like...
Has to be detailed.
It has to be detailed. It has to be well thought out and well... it has to be grammatically accurate. So it's like I will write that out the night before, write to like 3 or 4 different guys and just be like... And then leave it.
Yeah.
And then send it in the morning.
Yeah.
See what I'm saying? Because
I wish. I'm so frustrated that cell phones today don't have the schedule send feature like email does. Email has a schedule send feature, and you can like click on it and schedule a send for tomorrow, for a week from now. It does. I've been using it.
You might have a way to do that on iPhone. I'm not sure 100%, but there might be something you can do with that.
I've searched for it.
Yeah.
But I see your two perspectives, and I also kind of I agree with both perspectives. Like in my mind, like the brain is a muscle. Like,
right.
You know you're working out your legs. You know you got leg day. You work it out and it makes it stronger. You use your brain, it makes it stronger. I guess that's the idea behind school. You work your brain and it makes it stronger. I think the issue with school is you're working it in the wrong way for memorizing for a week in order to pass the test rather than being a critical thinker.
Exactly. I 100% agree.
Schools say they're trying to teach you to be a critical thinker, but it's like I don't really get I don't think I got any critical thinking skills from school.
I think,
and in the other sense, the phone is a super useful tool. Ultimately, I need to get things done at the shop. I can't just keep trying to memorize and continuing to failing because it's costing me a lot of money. So I need to use the tool of using my notes.
Yeah, totally. I completely agree with that. And yeah, that's really interesting, especially like hearing you say that from having a background in public school. Because I think so often it's an assignment. It's just checking a box. It's like if you have something you have to memorize, and even for me, because we had to memorize a lot in school, which I'm graduating by the end of May. So that's pretty sweet. But
you memorize...
in my mind, it's like I'm memorizing it, I'm reciting it, or presenting it rather, and then it's gone.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
You memorize, you pass the test, and then the information isn't needed anymore.
Exactly.
Whereas, like, teaching you to figure out the problem on your own,
then you're able to.
Which I guess, how would you
make
teach
your own
somebody
solutions.
how would you teach somebody to be a critical thinker? How would you teach somebody to figure things out on their own?
Logic. Teaching somebody how to think logically by presenting logical equations to them. At least for me, that's how I was taught, right? Because in homeschool, and especially in the curriculum I'm in, classical conversations is so based upon how to think critically, right? And the two biggest ways that I see them do that is, number one, like I said, by presenting logical equations to us and teaching us how to use those in everyday life. And number two, using examples of critical thinkers in the past, right? We read a lot of literature, like Shakespeare and whatnot, old poetry, and just different things that open up different perspectives as to how to think that a lot of people don't get. Like I'll be having conversations with even like kids that I know, kids that go to public school, and they're just like, you get to some points where they're just kind of stumped in the conversation because they're like, I've never thought about it that way, you know? And obviously that's not always the case. There's some extremely intelligent people that are that are highly educated, and a lot of that is due to the type of schooling they have received. You know, so
not all public school is bad, and not all homeschool is
good
on top of things.
Totally, I completely agree. But yeah,
I think of like teaching a kid how to swim. Like some people want to like hold them on their backs and like kind of like teach them how to float and keep holding them until they get it on their own. And then other people just grab the kid and throw him in the water.
Yeah. Exactly.
And I think that's how people teach babies how to swim. They toss them in the water and then pull them back out, and then they kind of get the baby used to having to respond the right way. And I've actually seen videos of people just grabbing babies, throwing them in the water, and the baby floats to the surface, rolls onto its back so that it can breathe, and then like swims to the edge.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's actually, because I've seen that in, like, firsthand. We did that for my sister. Mm-hmm. When she was, kind of growing out of the infancy. Well, she was like a toddler at the time. So, yeah, we did that for her, and that's how she learned to swim, and she's very good at swimming now.
Yeah.
But, yeah, so that's awesome. Let's see. What else can we talk about?
I had something in my mind a second ago, but I forgot it.
Truck conversations, right?
Truck. I never wanted a truck, but now that I have a truck, I couldn't imagine not having it. Because I don't know if you saw in my driveway, I have a trailer with me right now.
Is it a wheelhouse trailer?
Yeah, it is. Yeah. And I am grateful for that, because I went to a friend's place to do some work, and I was there a lot longer than I wanted to. I was there till like 8 o'clock, and I was like, I am so grateful that I don't have to like take this back to the shop and switch out to my own car or something. I have a truck. I can just take it home.
There you go. Yeah,
But it's also very expensive. Like paid $40,000 for it. It's like,
yeah, no, trucks are not cheap.
Yeah,
it's crazy. You know, that's part of the reason. I had the Cadillac. You know, and that was technically my first car. So I had the Cadillac, and then got rid of that, and then was kind of like, all right, well, you could spend more money and get a truck, or you could save and wait and get something nicer, or you could just get like a smaller, or you could just get like a smaller SUV, and have that do, you know. And now I have my Jeep, and it's working out fine. And you know, I'm just at this point, I'm kind of like, you know what? Let's just have fun with it. Yeah. Let's just kind of do whatever and fix it as it goes. Yeah. And then when the time comes, you know, I'll get a better.
Yeah. There's sort of a trade-off with like money. It's like, do you spend your money to get the better car? Yeah. Or do you keep saving it up in the bank and saving it up and saving it up and saving it up until you have enough for a house? It's like when you save it up in your bank. Banks have not very good interest rates. Like a savings account doesn't have great interest rates. So it's not like you're making a ton of money by keeping it in the bank, but you're also trying to save up for something. So yeah, it's like, do you keep investing in small things until you can like sell the small things and get a big thing? Yeah, you keep getting the cheap cars and keep getting the cheap cars until you can eventually afford a house. Yeah, or do you invest in better vehicles that'll last you longer? Yeah, that'll ultimately help you save money faster.
Yeah, it's a really interesting like trade-off, and especially, you know, I've heard multiple people speak about this, but it's the idea that like you cannot save. And now to put this in a different perspective, you cannot save your way to being rich. Mm-hmm. You know, just take it with a grain of salt. You know, but it's like that, in a way that's very, very true. Yeah. And I even look at like you're talking about like spending on little things. Like I even look around this room and look in my closet. Right, I'm into
little things.
Really expensive knives.
Yeah.
You know, and now obviously,
I like a frying pan there.
Oh yeah, my guitar frying pan.
Yeah.
I think we're going to add video eventually to this so that people can really understand what we're like talking about. Mm-hmm. But I have a wall in my room that's just kind of a bunch of random stuff that I've either found or that I have over the years. So I've got
clips, fishing, like what do you call those?
They're just big spoons, really big fishing spoons.
Oh, I was talking about the reeler things.
The reels, the little old push buttons.
There's like a little frying pan that's shaped like a guitar.
So that
little
thing,
handheld.
I've got a upside down horseshoe. Mm-hmm. It's actually supposed to be the other way.
Is it?
Yeah, and I totally was oblivious to the fact when I put it up.
Let me guess, because I know horseshoes are like bad luck, good luck. Let me guess, putting it upside down is bad luck.
It's bad luck, yeah. And now I will honestly say I've not had that much bad luck fall upon me from that, but it's totally superstition. And then I got my 50 cal shell, actually one that I shot, so that's kind of cool.
Where
and
is
then
it?
It's right above the bear crossing sign. And then I've got a
I see. Nice.
steel toe to one of my old pairs of boots.
Is that what that is?
Yeah, I just put a steel toe on my wall because
They're the most random things, but honestly,
yeah, it looks cool.
It's
growing.
It's like, why is there a saw blade hanging on the wall? Who cares? It looks cool.
Yeah. Well, and the other thing is like everything has a story behind it. You know what I mean? I could tell you the story behind that hubcap right there. We were driving to North Carolina. We were on some county road. I don't remember which one, but there was like nobody around, and we stopped because my brother had to use the bathroom. So he's out like using the bathroom, and all of a sudden I'm like, oh well, I should probably go too. So I like walk into the woods a bit, I don't know, maybe 10, 20 feet, and I look down and I see this hubcap, and I was like, oh, that's kind of neat. It was like buried, so I unbury it. And I like walk back out of the woods with this hubcap, throw it in the back of the truck, and my dad's like, "What the heck are you doing?" And I'm like, "Well, I don't know. It's kind of cool." Come to find out, it's a 1982 Ford F-150 hubcap.
Is that expensive?
No, probably not. But
it's just a
kind of
hubcap.
cool. It's just a hubcap.
I got a hubcap. You should collect them.
Collect hubcaps and just put them all over my wall.
I remember there's a famous place, somewhat famous in California called Slab City. It's like it's considered no man's land, no laws whatsoever.
Really? That's all of California. I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
I've got an interesting past, and for a while, for like a year or so, I lived in no man's land.
Really?
In Slab City. Yeah, I did. And I remember Slab City, the people there are actually, they're quite nice. Like, they're probably drug addicts and drunks, but
at least they're nice.
They're not. So every Saturday, they have this old junk, like this old stage put together with junk and bike wheels and hubcaps and stuff like that. And every night, every Saturday night, they have a concert, and there's no order to it. Just anyone can grab their guitar. Anybody can grab their guitar and hop up and play.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I wish we had more kind of stuff like that, because that's the sense of like community.
Check out Slab City.
Slab City, yeah. No, I mean I was born in California.
Yeah,
You knew that.
I mean, everybody there lives in old, broke down campers.
I feel like you were born in Michigan. Is that correct?
I was.
Okay, cool. At least I remembered something.
I remember there was this. I don't know if we were trespassing or not, but there was this. I want to say pomelo plantation, and I actually think maybe it was like an abandoned one, because I think it was like kind of dying out.
What is that?
A pomelo is.
It sounds like a fruit.
It is.
It is a fruit.
It's basically a grapefruit, but it's different from a grapefruit.
Okay.
It's so much more bitter than a grapefruit until you peel the outside skin, and it becomes so much more sweeter.
Really?
And
Okay.
stickier. And so I remember that was a thing that me and my siblings and my parents would always do. We'd go out to the pomelo field and we'd grab a pomelo, and
that's awesome.
We'd peel it open and eat. And it's got a 2-inch thick skin.
Oh, so it's a big fruit.
It's a big fruit.
It's like a cantaloupe.
It's got a little orange-sized fruit in the middle once you peel all the...
That's crazy. I've never heard of a pomelo before. I'm going to look it up now.
It's probably not as popular. It's because grapefruits are... I don't know. Maybe grapefruits are easier to make. My guess is grapefruits are probably more popular because they don't have such a thick... What do you call it? Husk?
I guess,
skin.
yeah. I mean, there's a fine line between skin and husk.
Yeah.
And husk is, it's far across that line.
I remember, though, recently, the pomelos aren't completely unheard of, though, because I remember one time I was going through Publix and I saw a sign, pomelos, and I was like, wait, there's actually pomelos here. I was like, nobody knows what
How do you spell that?
I have no idea.
Pomelo. I wonder if it's P-U or P-O.
Pomelo? Pomelo? I don't know. You could look it up.
Okay, so next question for you is, now obviously... Oh, actually, I'll tell you something first. So after I left Willow House, I still liked working with wood. Now, obviously, it's very different. You're not creating cabinets to be artistic or anything.
Right.
But it's still working with wood. So after I stopped working at Wheelhouse, I kind of took that as a hobby, right? And
Nice.
a lot of these walking sticks over here, you see, I've like made